Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? I know it's kind of festive this morning because we got food after, so I'm excited for that. My name is Steven. I get to lead the music service this morning along with Jamie. And usually what we do when we start service is we sing a couple of songs. So if you feel willing to, it's never mandatory. Feel free to stand or just sit and just kind of enjoy the music this morning. And also this morning is the first Sunday of Advent, so we're going to sing a couple of Christmas songs if you guys don't mind. First lovers, nowhere, the angels will say, was to certain for shepherds in fields and in fields where they keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Nowhere, 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 nowhere. Born is the King of the world's sweet dwell. They heard and saw the star shining in the leaves beyond the pond, and the earth it gave great light, and so we continue both day and night. Nowhere, 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 nowhere. Born is the King of earth's sweet dwell. Nowhere, 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 nowhere. Born is the King of earth's sweet dwell. Oh, come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive worlds we dwell, and mourns in lonely exile here, until the Son of God appears. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel. come to thee to world's return. Oh, come thou pastry, come and cheer our spirits by thy hand and speak. Disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and its dark shadows were to fly. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee to world's return. And rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee to world's return. Oh, come, desire of nations mine, in one the hearts of all mankind. Be thou our satisfaction seen, and be thyself the meaning of thee. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee to world's return. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee to world's return. Rejoice, 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 Emmanuel shall come to thee to world's return.
Thank you, worship team. You can give them another round of applause. Hi, everyone. It's so good to see you. Hi, live stream. I will not forget you. I'm working on it. My name is Donna. For those of you who don't know me, I am one of the pastors here. And for those of you, if it's your first time, our church is called Safe Harbor. And if you hear the acronym SHOC or SHOC, that just means Safe Harbor. So if you're like, oh yeah, do you go to SHOC or things like that, that just means Safe Harbor. So welcome to SHOC, and we are a Jesus-centered community reimagining inclusive spaces to rest, restore, belong, and become. And we're so excited about today because today marks our 2-year anniversary. We are 2 years old. It is so emotional to think about the fact that we are 2 years old, and we're going to just spend some time today as a group, as a collective, just reflecting on these last 2 years and even reflecting on the next 2 years might be like. So before we do this though, for those of you who have kids, we have a kids ministry, and we like to have our kids join us for worship beforehand and then go with their kid min leaders. So today, just to kind of show you, we have Natalie and Mary and Amanda, and those are our kid ministry leaders today. If you have kids, you're welcome to have them go with them after I say a kids prayer. So I'll go ahead and pray for our kids today, and we'll get started. God, thank you so much for our incredible SHOC kids, or kids at SHOC. I love I love that, SHOC kids. Thank you so much for them, whether they are on live stream today, away for Thanksgiving with family, or they're here. Will you just be with them as we go about our holidays? It's going to be, a lot of times, chaos, not just for us, but also for our kids. So you just be with each and every one of them, especially the next 2 weeks before we see each other again, that you'll just give them a time of joy and celebration, and also comfort if holidays are hard for them. Can you just be with them in your name? Amen. All right, kids, you're welcome to go on with our kid leaders. Or you can stay. Totally up to you. Okay, friends. So, with that, we have been going through a series called Connections. And the purpose of this series, to wrap it up today, correct? Yes, we are wrapping it up today with a sermon on growing together. What does it look like to grow together? And so I'm going to invite my friend, also an intern pastor here at SHOC, Dottie, Oleson, to come and talk to us about what it looks like to grow together on this fine anniversary day. Awesome, give her a hand.
Whoa, this is a dangerous thing to have access to these. Jamie, can I just set up?
Yeah.
You're so cool. Oh my gosh. I'm not a musician, obviously. Anyways, good morning. Hi. Happy Sunday. Everyone doing good with the holidays? Kind of. Mixed bag. Mixed bag. I feel that. Well, yeah, we're here. We're going to talk about growing together. We're going to lean into this imagery of seeds and planting. And to start with that, we're going to look at an ancient text in the Hebrew Bible, or the Old Testament of the Bible. And this is a text that talks about just like desolateness. And can anything grow? So Jacob, is Jacob outside? Jacob! Jacob's gonna read our scripture for this morning. Yay, Jacob! Okay, thank you. So we'll go to the Isaiah text after this. We'll come back to that. Okay, here we go. Perfect.
Then a shoot will sprout from the stump of Jesse. From Jesse's roots, a branch will blossom. The spirit of YHWH will rest on you, a spirit of wisdom and understanding, a spirit of counsel and strength, a spirit of knowledge and reverence for, is this Yahweh?
Yeah.
Yahweh, okay. For Yahweh. You will delight in obeying Yahweh, and you won't judge by appearances, or make decisions by hearsay. You will treat poor people with fairness, and will uphold the rights of the lands downtrodden.
Thank you. That's it. Okay, thank you. So we're going to spend time talking about this, but we're going to go back to the slides on the beloved community. So this series has been a series about what are we building together? What are we co-creating together? We are moving towards this vision of the beloved community that has been popularized by King, of a place of just equity, of liberation, of equality, of shared humanity. So when we're talking about what at Safe Harbor are we creating, we're drawing on this image of the beloved community, of we're trying to create something new, we're trying to create something of liberation and goodness, and as King says, we've shared this quote every week, our goal is to create a beloved community, and this will require a qualitative change in our souls as well as a quantitative change in our lives. So to create this beloved community requires hard work. And we're going to get into what is that hard work that it requires. But I brought up this scripture that Jacob read earlier, and it's from Isaiah in the Hebrew Bible, in the Old Testament. Those are kind of interchangeable phrases. And it's this text for the people in southern Judah. So Israel is a group of people referred to in the Old Testament, and the group that is in this text being talked about is the southern kingdom of Judah. And at the time, they were in so much political distress. They were not doing well. They were experiencing a lot of affliction, a ton of oppression, and they had Assyria as a threat to take over. And there was a lot of internal obstacles. So the lead up to this text is the writer of Isaiah is just wrestling with what's going on and how bad things were. And so in Isaiah 10, it says, in reference to the political landscape they were experiencing, Isaiah 10, "Woe to you who make unjust policies and draft oppressive legislation." Has anyone ever heard of this or experienced this? "Who deprive the powerless of justice and rob my people of their rights and rob orphans." This is the context of Isaiah 11. Woe to you who make unjust policies. Amen. Yeah. And draft oppressive legislation, who deprive the powerless of justice and rob poor people, my people, of their rights and rob orphans. I know we have a complicated relationship with the Bible, and the Bible is a complicated place. And also, there are people in the Bible, these ancient authors, that are describing the oppression that they experienced in ways that are really relevant to our world. They were not doing well. There was so much systemic injustice. And in this context of Isaiah, the people that were in power were corrupt. So when we get to Isaiah 11, there's so much hopelessness and despair. And I want to come back to this very first part. "Then a shoot will sprout from the stump of Jesse. From Jesse's roots, a branch will blossom." What good could come from a stump, right? So, well, I have an image of a stump. Okay, that's a stump. What good can come from a stump? The group of people that this ancient writer is talking about, they were like a stump. The person that was in political power was not good. The oppression they were experiencing was not good. Their own community wasn't handling it well. It was like they were a stump. And from a stump is dead. Now, there's some of you that might actually know a little bit more of the science. Things can grow from stumps. But for the most part, you get what I'm saying. This does not look like a promising place for growth. It looks pretty desolate, right? And the ancient writer is saying, hold on. Hold on. Even a sprout will come from this stump. And again, back to that Isaiah 10 piece. "Woe to you who make unjust policies and draft oppressive legislation, who deprive the powerless of justice and rob poor people, my people, of their rights and rob orphans." The ancient writer is saying, even from this desolate landscape, something can grow. And that is the word of hope for this ancient writer. And I love this stump imagery. I do. I've had a lot of time in my own life where I feel like I'm a stump. And I don't know if anything can grow from it. My dad has this really obnoxiously old dude thing that he says, and he'll go, "Dot, you ever feel like a pair of brown shoes and the rest of the world's a black tuxedo?" And I'm like, that is so funny, but so relatable. I'm like, yeah, I totally feel like a pair of brown shoes sometimes. And I also feel like a stump sometimes. And I feel like in our country, we're in a time where it can feel like a little stump of, I don't know what's going to grow from here. And in the world, with the wars happening, with so much misuse of power and unnecessary violence, I don't know know what's going to grow. And for a lot of us in our own spiritual lives, I don't know what's going to grow. With church, I don't know what's going to grow. Can we ever experience a healthy church community again? Can we ever experience healthy spirituality again? And for some of us, it's like, yes, we can. We've been doing this for 2 years, and we are doing it. But I like starting for us with our quirky community, instead of things growing, with we're kind of, a lot of us are starting as a stump, right? As we are building the beloved community, we feel the despair, the hopelessness at times, and we're kind of pushing past it and saying, something's gonna grow. Even though it might not feel like anything's gonna grow, something's gonna grow. So we're gonna talk about growth in this imagery. And as we go back to the beloved community, as King was talking about, we're leaning into this requires hard work. And if we want to create this beloved community, it requires the hard work of growth. And that growth happens together. It happens in us showing up. It happens in us bringing things for a potluck, listening to other people. Growth requires deep, hard work. Bell Hooks says, rarely, if ever, are any of us healed in isolation. Healing is an act of communion. Healing requires deep work and work with one another. And for us, we come with our seeds. Everyone have a seed packet? Yes, we'll pass them out later too. But yeah, we'll do that in a bit. But we're coming here with these little hopes of how are we gonna grow? How are we gonna keep leaning in? As we've experienced so much despair and hopelessness. I would love it right now if you could turn to your neighbor, whether it's maximum 4, okay? Top it, well, now I see a group of 5. It's okay if you do 5. Okay, but turn to your neighbor, 2 to 5 people, and I would love for you to reflect on what do you think of this stump image. When's a time in your life where you felt like nothing could grow and then something grew? And how has that given you hope? All right, we'll spend a couple minutes talking about that.
It's not in the original idea, project my own. Yeah, it's not the first thing that comes to mind. I feel like for a while, it's just
I hope it's okay. I heard that. That made me so happy.
comfortable on like
Take the next minute to wrap up. So you can wrap up in like the next minute.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I feel like I keep it smaller and just also talk about for me, like I'm a lot of it,
All right, we are going to come on back. Okay, if you've been here for this fall, you know that when we do these breakout groups, I usually say if you don't want to talk, just put a thumbs down. So I'm so sorry if you're someone that was not up for talking this morning and felt forcing a conversation. I would love it if we just shared a couple things that came out of your conversation, areas of stumps and hope and whatever. And maybe it's just a stump, no hope. So, yeah, anyone want to share? Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna pass it.
Hi, I'm Elaine. In my group, I shared my stump that lasted probably a good year and a half of anxiety. It kind of happened to me as a surprise after COVID. I lost my job and I started having bad panic attacks. And when I mean I was in Groundhog's Day every day, I kind of relived the same day over and over again. So I was so stumpy. When you're in anxiety, you don't think that there's that sprout because it's hard to see and be positive when you're just in a panic all the time. But I don't know, something came to me and I just said, you cannot live like this. You have to move forward. And I just reached out to a therapist and like an anxiety coach. And honestly, that saved my life because I started sprouting. I'm basically out of panic now.
Thanks, Elaine. Did you, Angel?
Hi. So I talked about how like I've been in treatment for mental health for 12 years, and there were times I'd be in therapy and I'd be like, I feel very stuck. And I had this really wonderful therapist I used to see, and she at first would try to like help me figure out how to be unstuck. And then eventually she kind of realized that we had to kind of sit with the discomfort and the stuckness. And when I stopped seeing her, not because she's a bad therapist or anything, my insurance just changed. She was telling me that I really helped her grow as a therapist even through things like that. And she specifically brought up like sometimes you're stuck and you have to sit with it. And she's like, I learned that from you. And so yeah, that's what I shared. So there have definitely been times where I was a stump and my therapist was right there with me also being a stump, and we both have grown from that relationship. So that's that.
Thank you, Angel. That was awesome. Okay, maybe one more.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so I've been in my stump era in like a lot of areas of my life, but let's talk about spirituality. Let's talk about the church. As a queer person who grew up in the church, it was kind of a relationship I felt could never really be mended. There's a lot of baggage there, but I think that I'm starting to kind of have my little offshoots in joining SHOC. I have found community in a place I found my community in a place where I never thought I would find it in my life. So it's something I'm incredibly grateful for.
Okay. Stump era. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to share anonymously. One group said, my stump was these conversations. And that made me laugh so hard. I was cracking up. I love that. I think I've shared with a lot of people that when my husband and I started going back to church, we were the grumpiest back row people that have ever existed in a church, and we would be on our phones the entire time and show up 20 minutes late, and all we were there for were the bagels because we had such a hard time paying bills, and we were just so grumpy. And so I loved that moment. It made me so happy because it reminded me of myself. Yeah, and I sometimes hate forced conversation, but here we are doing it every week. So, oh, sweet Maria. So this stump image is the times in our lives, right, or the world where we felt hopelessness, and hope. On the other hand, is actually a really huge agent of our well-being. So I do research in psychology, and during the pandemic, my colleagues and I out of Boston University, the Danielson Institute, we had researched sources of well-being, specifically meaning and hope, and how they operated in people's lives. And in that study, we found that one of the most common factors of hope was being in connection with other people. That being in relationships with other people mitigated so many of the distressing factors in the world. That relationships really were grounds for hope. And I love that. And we found that hope is essential to well-being. If we don't have hope, then we're not going to feel as good in life. Well-being is the feeling good, being able to flourish. And also, we found, though, that a lot of people struggle with hope. I know I struggled with hope in times. And part of actively struggling and seeking hope and wrestling with it helps lead to transformation. And that was a cool finding, I thought, from our study, that when people are wrestling with hope, that actually leads to more meaning and more hope. So if you're someone that feels like I am grounded in my stump era, you might be like, I am here to stay. Keep wrestling with, like, how do we find meaning? How do we find hope? And stay connected to people. And for us here, as we are experiencing, so many of us have experienced political distress, seeing the oppression in our world, our own spirituality, feeling so down about what's going on. Being in community cultivates hope. So what we are all doing, us showing up this morning, if you know someone here, if you know no one, being in community, statistically, impacts how we are creating hope. And it is helping bring those sprouts. It's where transformation happens. And hope, another bell hooks quote, hopefulness empowers us to continue our work for justice, even as the forces of injustice may gain greater power for the time. So let's go back to that Isaiah 10 piece. Woe to you who make unjust policies and draft oppressive legislation, who deprive the powerless of justice and rob poor people, my people, of their rights, and rob orphans. Bell Hooks says hopefulness empowers us to continue our work for justice, even as the forces of injustice may gain greater power for a time. And I think that's why this ancient writer knew that the people that Isaiah was writing to were down. And the forces of injustice were so alarming that there's this imagery of a stump. in something life sprouting out of what seems desolate and dead. And so we are in community cultivating hope. And hope is how we stay resilient. And us at SHOC, gosh, we are doing some really cool things here. And by being here, by showing up, by bringing our quirks, and part of that quirks by saying like, I don't even like service, I'm just kind of here to maybe make a friend. All of that is part of cultivating hope. And this is what it means to do this gritty work of being the beloved community. King knew hopelessness and chose hope and kept moving towards the beloved community, trusting that God, the divine spirit, was going to make life and make something new. Donna is going to come up and we're going to do an exercise together. Okay, so, because I have ADHD, I forgot something in the back there. Ryan, do you see that pot, the other pot? Don't worry, this is a planting pot. It's hard. Okay, Charles is laughing. I thought it was a funny joke. Okay. Okay, so on the way in, you probably grabbed some seeds. In an envelope. Raise your hand if you did not. We have people who can give you said seeds. Okay, so Angel's gonna come around, just raise your hand, and we will give you some seeds if you don't have it already. Incredible. Amazing. I can't wait. Angel, I'll also have some. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Are we good? We are all good. Amazing. Okay, so we decided to do an activity, and I know how much people love to do activities here, but don't worry, you don't need to talk to people. You just need to be sitting next to people. So we have these little envelopes, and each of these envelopes that you're holding represent you. They represent you, and they represent what you are contributing to our community just by being you. You don't need to show up any more or less than who you are right now, in this time, in this moment. So if you feel like you're in a stump, that you're stumpy, that you're in your stump era, or I like what Kay said, the nuance, right? There are areas that we are stumpy, areas maybe where we aren't. All of that is welcome here. All of that has something to give and cultivate here at SHOC. Now, what the seeds in here represent are all the unique elements and facets of ourselves that we bring to SHOC. It's unique, right? We had you either bring your own seeds or put a pinch of seeds in here. That represents what you have, who you are. All the little intricacies, as Dottie said, quirks that you bring. And what's really beautiful about this is that all of that is so important for building a community like SHOC. So what I also have here is a little planting pot that Chesney designed, and it has a lighthouse. Oh. And it says cultivating community and growing together, like our shirts. And it says SHOC, and it's got a bunch of beautiful garden imagery. What I'm gonna do, and Stephen's gonna play some instrumental for us, is we have some questions on our screen here. As this pot is getting passed around, go ahead and pour your seeds into it. And we're gonna collectively just pour all the seeds in, And as we're waiting for our turn, I want us to take some time to reflect on these questions. The first question, what unique seeds do I bring to this community? And how do they contribute to the growth of those around me? The second question, as I plant these seeds, what hopes or intentions am I planting for myself and for this community's future?
And if you're new here, it's okay, you don't have to come again. Let's just think about other communities. Okay, how has being a part of this community influenced my growth, and how can I continue to nurture these connections? So these are the questions. Stephen, you can go ahead and do some instrumental for us. I'm going to start over here, and we're just going to pass it like an offering, right? If we remember that from church. And we'll just take some time to reflect on these questions. Maybe this is the first time you've been able to sit and reflect, so continue to take the time. We still got our planting pot moving around here. So 2 years ago, me and a group of people had the really, really silly idea of thinking that maybe, just maybe, there might be a place for people who historically have not belonged in church. And this silly idea turned into a silly potluck, which we will be having as well at the end of this. And that silly potluck turned into monthly gatherings in people's backyards. And then those silly gatherings turned into, hey, what if we try having services in small groups and other things? And that led to this moment today. 2 years we've been building the beloved community together. And I will say it has been some of the most powerful and most amazing and moving years of my life. What we're going to do now is you will notice that there is, hopefully, if not, let me know or let us know at the end. You should have a sticker in your little packet. If you don't, it's okay. We'll get you one eventually. You'll get one on the way in. But you might have one that says restore. You might have one that says rest. You might have one that says belong or become. And they were random like Pokemon cards. So that you can meditate and hold on to the fact that you can rest, restore, belong, and become here. You're welcome to put that on your seat packet as a little memento from today, or you can put it on your water bottle, or you can put it on your laptop or anywhere. Maybe not your car. No, you can do your car too. And what we're going to do is, when you go out of these doors, even if you're just going to take a break before you go to the potluck over here, you're going to go ahead and you're going to grab, I'm going to shake it, mix it up. You're going to grab some more seeds again. And these seeds now reflect how each of us contribute to one another in this room. How each of us not only have a part to play, but also how each of us have a part to receive from others in order to build that beloved community. Cool, huh? Dottie's gonna come up now. And I know this felt like communion, but it wasn't. It's not communion. We're gonna, believe it or not, do communion now. So, if you don't have a communion cup, we have some greeters. Ryan is gonna come around. You can raise your hand again. See, we already practiced this, so we're gonna do it again. And grab a communion cup. It has a wafer and some juice. And Dottie's gonna lead us in some of communion. Thanks. All right. So communion, for those of you that might be new and need a little bit of an orientation, communion is something we do. Anyone is welcome to participate in it. It's a time where we celebrate that we are all coming to the table, both physically when we eat in the potluck, at the potluck, and also the metaphorical table that all of us belong. And as we come to this table, it represents Jesus and Jesus' life, one of liberation, one of hope, that Jesus experienced so many stumps and said, hold on, have some hope, stick with each other, be in community, new life is going to keep sprouting. So Jesus, on the night that he was betrayed, he took the bread. We do a donut. He broke it. I will break it. Don't worry, everyone. He broke it and he said, this is my body, broken for you. Take this in remembrance of me. So we take the bread together. And in that same way, Jesus said, this is my blood, poured out for you. Drink this in remembrance of me. So we drink the juice. And as we do that, would we remember that we are cultivating hope? And another thing that study found
I have to just share as a psychology nerd and researcher, was that people that had the highest levels of well-being found hope in a ton of different places, not just with other people. So as we are cultivating hope, we are staying close to each other. We know that people are statistically the biggest source of hope, but also find hope in your neighborhood, find hope in a flower, in the seeds, in the beautiful artwork on those stickers, on the shirts. Hope is cultivated in so many different places when we continue to cultivate hope. I'm gonna pray for us. God, thank you for this amazing community. Thank you for this awesome church that has given me so much hope over the last couple years. As someone that's been a fan from afar, and now as an interim pastor, I just have gotten to experience so much life from the seeds that have been planted and nurtured and watered over the years. I experienced hope in the people that worked hard to create this day, to create the potluck. I experienced hope in the fun comments about not liking talking to one another. That makes me so happy. God, there's just so much hope in this community and the ways that we are showing up. God, keep showing us that as we experience so many distressing things in our world, that new life will come. Amen.
You are the cry of our hearts, and you came down. Really, you gave us your love, showing us how. Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is darkness, let me shine light. And may your love cause us to open up, cause us to open up our hearts. May your light cause us to shine so bright that we bring hope into the dark. All that we do, all that we do without love, it means nothing. Grant us the courage to give. That's your call me. Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is darkness, let me shine light. And may
Home for the homeless. Home for the homeless. Your love strength in our weakness. Your love may we love as you love. And home for the vacant, your love Just you love, may we love, as you love. Come on proud, come on greedy, come on liars, come on shamed, come on wealthy, come receive it, to the table come today. Come on broken, come on needy, come on poor, those enslaved. Come on, scarred, oh, come be seated. Come on, people, come today. Come to the table, from near and far. Come from the shadows, come out of the dark. At the table, we sing you a sweet. Come to the banquet, we're joining the feast. Every race, every nation, come on, rebels, come on, play from the fringes. To a table full of praise, to the table come and stay. Come to the table, come eat and drink. There's no in the circle, we're in the king. one. Come behold, come be loved, come accepted, come now, come behold, come be loved, come accepted, come now, come behold, come be loved, come accepted, come now, come to the table, come rest far, come from the shadows, come out of the dark, there's food at the table, take you to a come to the banquet, come join in the feast. Come to the banquet, come join in the feast. Come to the banquet, come join in the feast.
Incredible. Thank you so much, worship team. Man, these songs just really get you in the feels, don't they? I'm so grateful for our team. It's incredible what we have and who we have here. I'm going to take us through some announcements, and for those who didn't catch on, it's okay. We actually have food here today. So there's food here at some tables outside, and we're going to do a potluck. But before that happens, we have things going on at SHOC, so let's see what we have going on. Okay, first things first, we have a gift and food drive. How this is going to work is we have service on December 15th. At that service, we'll have a table with people there, and we are going to donate whatever food items you see here and whatever gift items you see here for two really great causes. So we have our OC Rescue Mission, and we also have our OC United. And these are great community partners who do amazing work in our community for our youth, which is what toys and gifts you'll be donating to is our youth, and all who are in foster care. And then also we have for the Orange County Rescue Mission. So these are great things. You can bring your items. We'll have posts and reminders and all those things to remind you to bring things on that day. But that's what's happening. Next slide. We have this really cool thing. And by the way, for those of you who are like, wow, these drives are amazing. Wow, the clothing swap is amazing. This was all headed up by Angel in the front here. Angel has done all of this coordinating, so thank you so much, Angel. Angel had the great idea of us, our LGBTQ small group is called Haven. And on one of the nights that we hold Haven, we're gonna do a clothing swap. So what you will do is you can bring lightly used or nice used items or clothing that you don't want anymore, and we're going to exchange it. And what a great way too to support our friends who are needing gender-affirming clothes, right? So everyone is welcome. It's not just for our LGBTQ small group. We're just hosting it at my place. So this will be December 18th. We'll have a potluck at 6:30. We really like potlucks here, okay? We'll have a potluck again. I know, all these food, you know, but who doesn't like a potluck? Anyways, it's Thanksgiving, right? Okay, so that'll happen. Next slide, Haven. Okay, so these are our dates for Haven, our LGBTQ small group. We're going through a children's inclusive story Bible, and it is called The Book of Belonging. We are meeting this Wednesday at my place for a discussion at 7 p.m. and also a potluck. So you can join us for all these potlucks and all these things and all these discussions that you didn't think you needed or wanted, but they're here now. So there's that, and then of course No Haven on Christmas. Okay, we also have a families and couples group. Yeah, fun. And our next one, the last one of the year, is December 14th. And that's going to be from 4 to 6 p.m. at Anna and Nate's house in Irvine. So again, if you are like, where are all these places I need to go to, you can talk to me, you can talk to Dottie, and we will give you the details. And, sorry Sam, you're on top of it, I'm not. The baby supply drive. So if you're part of our small group, we are going to have a supply drive for kids that need some diapers or need some clothes or need really important things. As a mom, I can definitely understand. So that's also happening. You can bring your supplies to our small group and we will collect them there. And for those of you who are new, I know I say this a lot, for those of you who are new, we do not meet every Sunday. On the non-service Sundays, which is every other week, so this next Sunday coming up, we do not meet. But we do have really cool things that happen on the weekend, including yoga. Yes, so Ryan, you want to raise your hand? Ryan heads up our yoga, and he leads us in some really great, just like really great sessions that are really helpful for our minds, bodies, and spirits. So you're welcome to join us for that as well. And if this wasn't enough, we have a very lively Instagram group, and you're welcome to find us on Instagram, and we will add you to that group, and you can post prayer requests, you can post things you're doing, you can see what others are doing, what other prayer requests are, what other needs are, and we just like to be a community and cultivate community together on that platform. So you're welcome to join us on that. Okay, and we have an end of the year giving campaign right now going. We've raised $1,100 a month, which is incredible. We can definitely say whoop whoop for that. But we're not done. Our goal is to raise $900 a month, but we've already done more than half. So if you are feeling like, man, SHOC is really special, I'd love to see so many areas in it grow in these next 2 years, 5 years, whatever, then this is a great way to support us. You can go online and just follow the link there. You can also text us an amount, and that goes a long way. It really helps our community thrive. So thanks, guys, if you're considering. Next slide. Okay, I'm gonna do benediction, and then we'll go out to our potluck. For those who are like, where's the potluck? We're gonna go out these double doors, and you'll see some kids tables, like for food or whatever, and it's gonna be over there. And there's food, there's tables. Yes, Dottie?
I just assessed the situation. The food looks incredible.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Incredible.
Try not to eat inside, please.
Oh yeah, we'll stay out there.
Yeah, we'll eat outside. There's tables outside, so we should be good. And if you need something warm, pick up a SHOC sweater. And there's merch now. Okay, I'm gonna do a little benediction. Yeah, thanks, Charles, my husband. My mom's there. Okay. I will do benediction. You're welcome to put your hands out. You can keep them to yourself, close your eyes, or keep your eyes open. It's up to you to receive this blessing. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make their face shine upon you and be gracious to you. And may the Lord lift up her countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen, friends.